Welcome to Core Ad Core. Today I'm with Matthew Dimock, a Charlotte Catholic High School graduate, and he is now preparing for his first year at St. Joseph's Seminary. Matthew, how are preparations going?
Oh, things are going wonderful, sister. We've been doing lots of work over at the seminary building itself. Mr. Aaron Huber and I spent an entire week painting and fixing things up. Next week I'm going to be helping our project manager move some furniture in. We have some beautiful donations of fine art and adornments for the altar, so I'm looking very much forward to that.
So I just picked up on there's a lot of beauty going into even this first phase of the seminary.
Oh, definitely.
How do you think that's going to influence this year of formation for the young men?
Well, I think that being closer to that tradition is part of formation, you know? The church is built on tradition, so being close to, you know, all the beautiful art that we have is definitely going to influence that. And also the fact that, you know, doing this labor that we're doing right now, it's a gift that you can give to God, you know? And I think that's part of your charism. It's, you know, servitude to God. So, you know, working there at the seminary has really helped me grow closer to God by serving Him and doing His will already.
That's beautiful. And then, so while you're giving to the seminary in a physical way, obviously your vocation as well, but right now, speaking of preparing the actual building, what do you think it's going to be and mean to the donors in the diocese, to the diocesan family, to actually see and be part of this seminary in their home diocese?
Well, as Father Kauth has made clear in the release video for the seminary, this is a very vital time in our lives for this formation. What happens now will influence the rest of the 8 years that we're in seminary. So I think that when you're donating this beautiful art, or, you know, we're building some very beautiful things that are coming in the hopefully near future, I think that will greatly influence, you know, how we, you know, it sets a tone for how we are in seminary. I mean, when you're in a place that doesn't have all that stuff, you know, you don't feel as close to God as when you have, you know, a picture of the Blessed Mother hanging up in the refectory or in the drawing room. So I think that's how it's going to, you know, help this.
That's in the convent, we call it the convent culture. And again, just even something as simple as the refectory should be an extension of the chapel. So right now we're trying to find the napkins that should go in there, the linen. And again, all those details will be a part of your formation. When did you first consider the call to the priesthood?
Well, in middle school, I listened to Father Larry Richard's audiobook, Be a Man. And it was after my father had gone to the Charlotte first men's conference. And it really struck a tone with me, even in middle school. But I feel that I wasn't very mature at the time. I don't feel like I was mature enough to be able to discern the calling that God gave me. And sure enough, you know, a few months later, that's gone and I'm considering doing something else. But, you know, being at Charlotte Catholic and being able to be in the presence of our Blessed Lord in the Eucharist has certainly helped me. And, you know, being there in adoration is when I felt the call again. And ever since then, I've sought to pursue it.
Good. Earlier we talked a little bit about the relationship that already the 8 of you have started to form. Can you speak on that?
Well, I mean, Quo Vadis Stays was instrumental in, you know, this, I suppose, pre-formation, I guess you could call it. We lived at St. Michael's in Gastonia, just up the street, I guess. And, you know, being with my brothers before seminary has certainly we've developed a friendship with each other. You know, we live very far apart. You know, we have guys who live up in Ashboro like Jose, and, you know, we've got guys who live in Charlotte like Harry. Peter Ruscialelli, and I mean even Peter Lyons lives all the way up in Ohio. So we're not very close to each other as far as distance, but when we're together, you can already feel the formation.
That's wonderful. What are some of the things you're most excited for this year?
Well, aside from the good cooking that I know is on the way, I suppose that I'm looking forward to our music program, which is going to be run by a good friend of mine, Mr. Tom Savoy. And he's the leader of the Carolina Catholic Chorale, who does all the beautiful music for those orchestral masses that we have in the diocese. And above all, though, I think that I'm looking forward to the formation. I'm looking forward to being with other guys who are reaching for the same goal of advancing in their seminary life and maybe one day pursuing a vocation to the priesthood. As Father Kauth said in that release video, the world doesn't really provide a good formation. So being with these other gentlemen who really want to do God's will is going to be instrumental in developing the priest.
Absolutely. Well, I assure you of our prayers, and I'm sure everyone who's watching this will continue to keep you in their prayers and all the young men at St. Joseph's Seminary.
Yes, ma'am.